sign on the dotted line today, which is not a bad thing. I know there's a lot of talk with whether early signing period is a good thing or this, that, or the other thing. For us, I think it's a great thing. It gives us some direction about what it is that we're doing and where we're going, and have a chance to get these guys in here and signed up all early, and then have a little better idea and grasp if you do have an opportunity to kind of use January and the beginning of February to figure out what else you might need for your team, after maybe some guys declare and different things like that. But always a unique time. It still is one of those exciting things for us. It just happened a little bit earlier, and we've continued to move forward. So, as you know, we signed 19 high school kids. That'll be our mentality. Last year we signed 24 high school kids. That's the way we want to go about doing what we do. We truly believe that having guys here for 4 and 5 years, the ability to develop those guys is where we want to make our hay. And so I think you pretty much know those guys. I think we've got 9 of them, 10 of them, nine high school kids, and I think one transfer that came in here in the winter. So they're getting acclimated to what it is we're doing. Had their first mat drill this morning. Kind of like one of those things that you always kind of National Signing Day, indoctrinate to some of the new guys into what mat drills really look like. So had an opportunity to do that this morning, and then really, from the time we've been back from the last game, we've really, me in particular, and some of the other guys have had spent a lot of time making sure, kind of shaping the leadership of this team and how we're moving forward with, a bunch of new coaching staff guys. So obviously you'll get an opportunity to talk to and meet some of those guys this afternoon or here after me. But there's some other things, obviously Coach Gino Gaduli moving to be our offensive coordinator, hiring Mike Cummings as our offensive line coach, bringing back Walt Stewart as our outside linebackers coach, and then Coach Kerry Combs coming back home here to coach our corners and special teams. So it's always an interesting time, in my 5 years here of what February really looks like, because we've probably had 2 or 3 transitions for this year of new things that kind of February is a little bit different, but it's been great for us in our program every year. Meaning we get some new perspective, we get some new energy, we get some new eyes on all that we're doing, both offensively, defensively, and as well as the program stuff. So we've found a way each and every year of losing some really, really good coaches and people to find a way to get better. And I feel like we've done that this year. And it's the same thing with losing some great players. We're going to find a way to get better. It doesn't mean that you'll have a better quarterback this year. But I tell you, we got a chance to be better in all those positions and all those areas. But it'll be a challenge for all of us, especially the coaching staff.
There haven't been any high school signings in this period, but you have been active in the transfer market. Have you had a similar plan that you've had in years past, or are you adapting and evolving as this thing becomes more prominent?
We want to keep the same philosophy of what it is that we do, and that's why I kind of start off by saying we signed 24 high school kids last year. We signed 19 high school kids this year. Yes, we do. We've got some transfer guys. We've got a bit of a matrix that we came up with, I think, 4 years ago when it was grad transfers, but it really kind of still falls into us as transfers. There's specific things that if we're going to take a transfer kid, whether he's got 1 year or he's got 4 years, we want some specific things, based on what it is that we've got in each one of those rooms for each position. And we feel like if there's a right fit, then that's what it is that we're looking for. But yes, I think we've got 4 new guys that have come via the transfer portal of some sort. I think will be great additions to our team.
Last year with the coordinator change, you talked about wanting some fresh eyes on the defensive side, bringing Mike Tressel in. Why is it different? Why was it such a no-brainer this year to elevate Gino, someone who was already in the program?
Well, it's been the plan and the process and for a long time. It's not just like it all of a sudden just happened. It's been, Coach Gino and I have talked about it. Coach Denbrock and I had talked about it. We always want to have a succession plan in all that we're doing. And, whether we come in here and it was a 2, a 4, a 6-year plan, and that was everything from, what our coaching staff would be able to look like, what our, budgets of things look like, what our facilities would look like. As a coach, yeah, you spend a lot of your time, with the kids and try to spend as much time doing football as I can. But a lot of the time that I spend, especially between that break of going to play a bowl game and at the end of the season, is making sure you've got a plan for the other things that can happen within your program. And so it was not a difficult thing for us to figure out which direction we were going to go. It's just a matter of when we were going to go that direction.
What was it about Mike Cummings that made him the next in line to be the O-line coach?
Well, I think twofold. I think that, looking at his resume of things and what he has done in development of, so to speak, guys that maybe weren't as highly recruited, and what he's done with them in his time at Central Michigan, and, his background a little bit more even as an offensive coordinator. With losing Coach Denbrock, I thought that it was important for us to bring some new experience and some different experience into that room, because, we do lose a lot of experience with Coach Denbrock. And, then, the unique connection that, our guys knew him, our guys have got some connections with him. I think the dynamics of a room is really, really, really important to me. And I think he kind of hits the point on all those things to give us a chance to be better at what we do.
You're losing two really good corners, obviously, but you're bringing in a guy in Carey who you're familiar with and comfortable with. How does that help maybe quell the uneasy at that position?
Well, it's always about players. And, you can't just, at one position in particular, it's hard to just, think you're going to manufacture guys at corner, especially to play the way our guys did. But it was far beyond just coaching the corners, having a chance and opportunity to bring Coach Combs back here. Our relationship, coaching together for 5 years, I don't stay in touch with a lot of people. I don't know, it's just, you're busy, you got a lot of things going on. When I left all the different places I left, there's very few, unfortunately, not that we're not acquaintances and friends, but it's hard to stay connected with a lot of people, and Carey's one of those guys. And working with him, you build a bond, knowing what kind of person he was, on top of even a great coach. So it was a no-brainer for us. In some way, somehow, if he was going to be there, there was going to be an opportunity for us to find a way to get him onto our coaching staff. And it's unique in how things happen. A position in particular open that fit him even better than what I had envisioned maybe a month and a half ago.
Not new hires, but some new titles for Coach Brown, Coach Hitchler. Is that a way to help, keep it at 4 changes as opposed to 5 or 6, being able to give them a little bit of promotion? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's a lot of things that come along with winning. There's a lot of things that come along with success. And I would tell you first and foremost that if the university and John Cunningham wasn't able to back us up, know what we need to do to continue to be successful and to take the program, to higher levels, to get to that top 10 program in the country, it would not have been. We would not have had a chance. We would be making, 8 or 9 moves, and so first and foremost, to have the backing of the president, to have the backing of the board, to have the backing of John Cunningham gives us an opportunity to keep those guys, to continue to progress them. Like you said, you've always got to have a plan, in my opinion, for your future, and as you're moving forward. And you say you give these guys your titles. I didn't give anybody a title. These guys earned titles, and so I think that first and foremost, obviously give it ability to take care of those guys a little bit more. We're also trying to put them in line to know what's going to happen, because we're going to continue to have success. We're going to continue to play really well, and there's going to be continue to be incredible opportunities for a lot of these, players and coaches.
Walt Stewart has had his eye on coming back to Cincinnati since he got into coaching. When you had a chance to finally sit down with him, how much could you feel that pride for Cincinnati and what this is all about in him?
It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. I had an opportunity not to really sit down with him, but I at least got to know him, via conversation, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it was all I really had. So, I started to, watch him from afar, and it didn't take long in the first conversation I had with him to realize that he would be an incredible fit for us at some point in time if we ever had an opportunity. And I could tell you there's a lot of great qualities that I don't even know about him yet, because I don't know him that well. But his sense of pride in this place and his loyalty are two things that are really hard to find. And I know there's a lot of other great qualities. Like I said, we'll see him as he's coaching, as I get to know him better. But first and foremost, in the short conversation from 2.5, 3 years ago, I know this: he's got incredible pride in this place, and he is a very loyal man.
Have you guys talked about how it came to an end here? Like, him getting the diagnosis? And
No, I don't know even the full story.
His
And,
neck was sore. He went to the doctor. They told him if you play anymore, you're.
I
probably
know
gonna get
that part of
paralyzed,
it, but
yeah.
I don't know the full story. I was hoping this time gets an opportunity. There's a lot of new guys here that, I got to spend some time with to get to know. But I look forward to it. Obviously, I've read some of the articles and the things about Walt, but it's crazy. I mean, we got a guy named Greg Scruggs in there, and we just took a little trip down to Mobile yesterday and spent a couple hours on an airplane, and I learned more about some more things about him. So as we spend time together, all these coaches, we learn more about each other, and I think that's what gives us an opportunity to go through the things that we go through, the ups and the downs, the adversity. It's because over time you do get to know people a lot better.
You mentioned the pride with Walt. You've talked a lot about embracing the community and the city as part of the culture of this program. Does that make it even easier to add someone like Coach Combs in addition to you having worked with them and know them?
For sure. I mean, I do believe that there are right fits, and I say that about head coaches. I say that about coaches. There's great coaches out there, and you can go anywhere and be a really good coach. But I think when you put a person into a really good fit, boy, it gives him an opportunity to really excel, and not just for himself, but for the whole program. And Coach Combs is one of those situations, and it's not just the familiarity with Cincinnati or familiarity with Cincinnati, the pride that comes along with it. I mean, I can remember back to getting some of the recruits and Gino having an opportunity to be a big part of it. Well, why? Because of his experiences and his past of being a player that was recruited by a lot of people, and all of a sudden he chose Cincinnati. There's no greater example to be able to talk to 17, 18-year-olds. They might not know everything, but I sure tell you they can sense pride and they can sense enthusiasm, in what it is that people are doing. You can't hide that stuff. You can't. So whether it's with our own players or whether it's with the guys we're recruiting, to bring the right ones here is going to give us an opportunity to be what we want to be, and that's a top 10 program.
One more for Coach.
What was the
This is like a 2-on-1 here.
I mean,
You don't let anybody else talk. Okay. Go ahead.
All they have to do is ask.
Well, I know.
what was the trip to Mobile like?
It was, it was awesome, to be honest. To go down there, you guys have asked me a million times before. I don't reflect upon a whole lot of things. I don't spend a whole lot of time. I know you tell me I should, and maybe someday I will, but
No, you won't.
no, I probably won't do it, right. But that trip down there, just standing there at practice, was probably the most proud time I've had as a college coach, and to see those guys out there, to know a lot of the stories of where they are now and maybe where they were, from a Darian Beavers, who unfortunately we didn't recruit, maybe had the first opportunity, to where he is now, I mean, just all of them. I'm not going to single any one of them out. It was probably the proudest moment I've had in quite a while, and if we had not gone down there, I would feel really bad. And so I know they did a great job, and I know, I'm not sure they, in their big interviews and what they were doing, that I know they knew we were there, and they came over afterwards, but it meant a lot more to us, I'm sure, than to me than it even did for them. So it was a great day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
We'll have Coach